All right, welcome to the Franchise Time Machine. We are going to do tonight another experiment on the number of pitches in the starting pitcher's repertoire. Part of the reason we're going to do this is because the first two experiments were so clearly informative of a few different things that I wanted to see if we could continue that trend and do another experiment that might teach us something. The big difference in tonight's experiment is beyond the fastball, which every pitcher will have, even the one pitch pitcher, every pitch we add is going to be a bad pitch, rated 50 out of 1 to 550. So, major league average for most of these ratings is about 400. So, this is like below minor league average, probably below bad for minor league. So, in this case, we're really testing the bounds of to what extent does the game engine value additional pitches if they're not good. Um, they're there, but they're bad. Do they still help in terms of stuff and the things that come with stuff? Better OPS, better strikeouts per 9 innings, and so on. So that's what we're gonna do. Um, let me check my email. I had hoped to get some extra giveaway packs for our 100th episode, but if we don't get them tonight, I asked. It's not OOTP's fault. I asked pretty late. I thought about it yesterday. I messaged them. I said, "Hey, I know it's short notice, but can I get some extra packs to celebrate our 100th stream?" And what we'll do is, if I get approved for it, after today, I think we can still celebrate the 100th, even though we don't do it on the 100th. So if I get them approved sometime, maybe this weekend or whenever it happens, I don't stream Wednesdays, so maybe Thursday. I'll hopefully have extra packs to give away to kind of mark the milestone. And then what else? Before we jump into the experiment today, I had a few things here. The first one is PTCS standings are official and out, and I will be in 7 PTCS tournaments. This, I think, is the third or fourth PTCS in a row where I've got a team. All my teams have made their primary uh, traditional tournaments. So 2 of my teams play in iron, 2 play in bronze, and 2 play in silver. And I think this is the third or fourth PTCS in a row where I have all 6 in their respective levels. The 7th one this time around is one of my iron teams made the weekly, not weekly draft, but the weekly um, on the strength of a first place finish in Sunday Nightmares, and I think maybe like placing in a few couple of others. So weekly tradition does not take a lot to qualify. If you win one, you're well on your way to qualifying. So uh, Sunday Nightmares is a new low iron tournament. Weekly tournament. It has no combo limits or anything. So it can be pretty tough. There are a lot of low iron teams that are fully combinated. So part of it's like getting lucky and avoiding them until later in the tournament, and just try to make a deep run. Hopefully, other teams get lucky and knock out some of those all combi teams, and then getting lucky yourself when you face one of those. So some combination of luck and otherwise good roster building and slider setting to get qualified for that weekly. I also thought it was interesting that half of my teams have double digit ranking numbers 22, 44, and 66. I am thinking about next cycle, maybe trying to, when I feel safe with some of these, like, making 20th in iron and 22nd in bronze. I probably could have taken that last week and tried to qualify in another level. But with the combis, that makes it kind of hard to do. So because that's a lot of live tournament wins to in places to get there. So if I shifted in the last week, maybe I can get like a 128th place or something, but it would be hard. But maybe worth trying to get more than 6 qualifications next time, or 7 this time. All right, so let's do a quick review, right? So this is what we're doing tonight. Tonight's question is, does the number of bad pitches matter? I'll do a quick review of the previous results. The first version of it was just, does the number of pitches matter? And we tested from 1 to 4 pitches. All the pitches, of course, were rated 400, which is major league average. And we followed the same sequence of adding pitches. So fastball, then you get a changeup, then you get a slider, then you get a curveball. And we learned quite a bit when we did that experiment. So the main findings were the opponent OPS improves greatly when you go from 2 pitches to 3 pitches. And that aligns with what we've heard anecdotally in Perfect Team, right? In Perfect Team, we've been told if you only have 2 pitches, you're probably stuck in the bullpen. And this definitely aligned with that. There's a big jump in OPS effectiveness with 3 pitches. So the interesting thing was, as far as opponent OPS goes, adding a 4th pitch didn't seem to matter. The league leader in WHIP was a 3-pitch pitcher. The 3 and 4 pitch teams had pretty much, statistically um, indistinguishable OPSs, WHIPs, ERAs. But the surprising thing, and it was kind of neat because AW came into the chat and predicted this uh, from his experience probably with PBE. The 4th pitch does improve your strikeouts per 9. So you definitely need 3 pitches to be an effective starter in OTP, especially in terms of OPS. But adding a 4th pitch doesn't really help your OPS, but it will help your strikeouts. So in other words, you're not getting any more people out, but of the outs you're getting, more of them will be strikeouts if you have 4 pitches. I think that's the cleanest way I can describe it. So that was 4 pitches. I was kind of interested to see, okay, do you get diminishing returns then as you go beyond 4? But then we had another question, which was, hey, Kitty Poo Poo, what's going on? I'm going over the learnings from the last experiments with the pitches because tonight we're gonna do a new wrinkle on the pitches where every pitch we add is a bad pitch. Do we still see the same patterns we've been seeing before? Um, oh, and the pack giveaway survey is already ready, so let me post that now so people can start answering it. There's that. Let me say link to tonight's 10-pack giveaway contest form. All right, let's pin that. All right, so pin to the chat. So with those 4 pitches, every pitch was a 400 quality pitch. The big difference tonight will be, other than the fastball, every pitch we add is going to be a 50 rated pitch. I think it's going to matter. I just don't know how much it's going to matter. Yeah, Kitty Poo Poo. That's great. Lurk, you can even leave. You don't have to be present to win, but I appreciate you being here. But so yeah, that's the briefly on the experiment tonight. Ezra Denny, thank you for the raid. As you know, I was watching most of your stream, but I did not see I did not see the end of your stream, so I don't know if you won your season opener or not. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to turn on the Google form. Sorry, Kitty Poo Poo. Um, Ezra, I could not believe Giants won 3 nothing. The form's now up, open. Kitty, try again. The form's open now. Sorry about that. Thanks for letting me know. Um, I was amazing that chain link fence and the wind coming off the bay in Old Candlestick. That's crazy. Marshall threw a 7-hit shutout with 9 strikeouts. Nice. Nice. What season in his career was that for Marshall in 1960? So for the Raiders, let me show you what we're working on tonight. So in real life, 1960 was his rookie season. Awesome. Um, we've been doing some experiments to figure out in OOTP, does the number of pitches matter in a starter's repertoire? And if so, where are the kind of breakpoints in the number of pitches? Um, and so let me go real quickly over again our previous results. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to create teams where every starter has either 1, 2, 3, all the way to 8 pitches in the repertoire. What's going to be different from the other experiments is, other than everyone having a 400 rated fastball, which is about major league average, all the other pitches they have will be rated 50. So the question tonight is, does the number of pitches matter when they're bad? And if so, are the breakpoints where different effectiveness changes we saw in the other experiments, do they still happen at the same places? Places meaning number of pitches. So it'll make more sense when I kind of walk you through the results of the last 2 experiments. Now, this has implications for playing base game, right? If you're drafting or developing pitchers, I think it has big implications if you're playing in an online league. It might help you think about, if you have a choice between using your boosts or your caps or whatever your league has to learn another pitch versus improving existing pitch. Um, you know, I think what we're seeing here will help with those decisions. Uh, I think to a lesser extent, it might help with perfect team too. I think perfect team, whatever's going to happen based on the number of pitches you have is already reflected in in the player card in terms of stuff and movement, home run suppression, stuff like that. So I think it's probably less informative for perfect team, but I think it can be a big deal for online leagues. Okay, so the first experiment we did was we just used 4 pitches. They're all rated 400, which is major league average. And we had 4 teams, right? On team 1, all the starting pitchers had 1 pitch, a fastball. On team 2, all the pitchers had 2 pitches, a fastball and a changeup. Team 3, we added a slider. Team 4, we added a cutter. Oh, sorry, curveball. Curveball. And then here's what we learned in that experiment. Your opponent OPS improves once you get to 3 pitches. And this is very much aligned with what we've heard anecdotally in perfect team, right? In perfect team, we keep hearing, okay, if you have 2 pitches, you're going to have to be in the bullpen. And what we're seeing is that's true in the base game too. There's a big jump in OPS, opponent OPS, also in whip, when you went from 2 pitches to 3 pitches. The interesting thing was from 3 pitches to 4 pitches didn't seem to matter much in terms of opponent OPS or whip. In fact, the league leader in whip was a 3-pitch pitcher, and half of the top whip pitchers were 3-pitch pitchers, and the other half were 4-pitch pitchers. It really just only seemed to matter that you had at least 3 pitches. 3 good pitches or effective pitches, 400 rated pitches. Now, the one thing where fourth pitch did matter was strikeouts per 9 innings or strikeout rate. And interesting enough, I don't know if AW's in the chat tonight, but AW predicted this. He came in a little late, but based on his PB experience, he said, "Oh, that fourth pitch is going to matter for strikeouts per 9 for K9." And he was absolutely right. When we looked at the data after the season, all the league leaders in strikeouts per 9 were 4-pitch pitchers. So while the whip pitchers were a mix of 3 and 4-pitch pitchers, strikeouts per 9, all 4-pitch pitchers. So what I think that means is when the game calculates whether a pitcher gets you out or not, having more than 3 pitches matters, but beyond 3 pitches, it doesn't really matter. But then when the game goes to calculate what kind of out it is, whether it's a strikeout or not, then having that fourth pitch makes a big difference. I think the other way to look at it is your out is determined first, and then whether your stuff gets you a strikeout is determined later. Now that probably has implications for perfect team, because stuff is not necessarily going to help prevent you from giving up hits and walks. It just changes the type of outs that you get. Now, again, this is one experiment. Each experiment will get 2 data sets, so it's not a ton of information, but that's what we're seeing, and we saw it pretty clearly. I mean, while the sample size was small, the experimental results were pretty convincing. Then we went to experiment 2. We said, okay, what happens when we expand that to 8 pitches? But we add a little bit of a wrinkle. The wrinkle was, other than the fastball, anytime you have more than one pitch, the last pitch in your repertoire, so if you're a 3-pitch pitcher, the third pitch was only rated 50. Because part of what we're testing is now that we have more space, we have 8 pitches to work with, right? 8 teams with 1 through 8 pitches. Let's see if it just matters if you have 3 pitches, or for strikeouts, does it just matter if you have 4 pitches? Or does that last pitch have to be good? Right? 50 is pretty bad. This is a 1 through 50 scale. Major league average is 400. 50 is probably like college or high school average. So it's pretty low. So here's how we set it up, right? First pitch is fastball 400. Starting with the second pitch, the nth pitch is a 50. So if you have 4 pitches, you have 3 400 pitches, but that last curveball is going to be a 50. So we're kind of testing 2 things. What does the OPS impact look like after 4 pitches? We only saw it through 4 the first time. And then for both OPS and for strikeouts per 9, does the quality of that last pitch matter or not? And surprisingly, the results were super clear. The pitch quality does matter for that OPS improvement. The reason we know that is the break point used to be from 2 pitches to 3 pitches. Now the break point is from 3 pitches to 4 pitches. It was really clear. And so that means you can't just have 3 crappy pitches and say, I'm a 3-pitch pitcher, I can start. If your third pitch or even your second and third pitch are not good enough, you will be throwing as if you're a 1 or 2 pitch pitcher, and you will get rocked. Now, the interesting thing, though, was the K9, strikeouts per 9, increased at the 4-pitch mark, even though that fourth pitch was not good. So in terms of getting you out, that third pitch has to be good enough. Otherwise, you need a fourth pitch. Or frankly, it just means you need at least three good pitches. But for those outs to be strikeouts, your fourth pitch can be crappy. You'll still get that strikeout. So I think another way to look at it is to get outs, you need at least three effective pitches. But to get strikeouts, maybe it's just the threat of that fourth pitch is enough, right? Just having it in your arsenal is enough, and you will still strike batters out. Now, one thing we did see was the more some of the teams with more pitches, their home runs allowed were actually higher. And so my hypothesis on that was, okay, well, you're throwing before when we add the pitches, they're adding 400 level pitches, so there weren't any bad pitches. Now we're adding a 50 level pitch. That pitch is probably the one giving up the home runs. Unfortunately, we can't see the data that way in the season data. I wish we could, because I think we would see that the home runs are predominantly coming on that 50 rated pitch. So then that made me wonder, okay, well then what happens if we do the same experiment again with 8 pitches, but instead of the nth pitch, right? Because the way we set up was uh hold on, the nth pitch was rated 50. Now they're all going to be rated 50. So if you're a one pitch pitcher, you get a 400 fastball. If you're a two pitch pitcher, you get a 400 fastball and a 50 changeup. Right? If you're a four pitch pitcher, you get the 400 fastball and you have 350 rated crappy pitches. So at that point, is it going to matter if we just keep adding crappy pitches to your repertoire? I have no idea. It'll be interesting to see. And that's what also will be guessing. The form is pinned to the chat. You can win. It's a 10-pack giveaway. First place will get 7 packs. Second place will get 3 packs. And yeah, so that's what we're going to be tonight in our 100th stream. So let me check my email again. I'm still hoping to hear back from OOTP Developments whether or not I can have some extra packs to celebrate 100 streams. But even if you won't get them today, if I can still get them, we'll celebrate 100 in the 102nd or whatever episode, and we'll have extra packs to give away, I hope. Yeah, so let's set it up. Let's pull up the base game and set it up. Oh, sorry. Let me add myself to nearly perfect overnight before we start. Okay, done. That is done. All right, here's the base game. And we are going to start a quick start game. Tomato, the cement mixture. I don't think I know what you're referring to. You'll have to let me know. Okay, this is quick start 8x8. And we'll call this bad repertoire. Repertoire VO1. Oh, breaking ball that doesn't break. Yeah, the last pitch being a hanging break pitch. Yeah, I would just think of it as batting practice. We call them gopher balls. Do people not call that anymore? Gopher balls? Right, commissioner mode cannot be fired. So we are in our 8x8 experimental league. This is a league where every player, here I'll show you. Every player is identical and has the same rating. So even their height and weight, we set them at 185 inches, 185, sorry, 185 centimeters, 185 pounds. I do think it's weird though that OOTP went with centimeters and pounds, like mixing it up there. But yeah, all the ratings are set to 400. This is because in 2023, um, the major league averages for most ratings were right around 400. So uh, all the teams are set like this. The fielding ratings go from 1 to 250, so we just set them at 125, and so on. So the only thing different should be the whatever the variables we change for the experiment are. And before I forget, I need to save this as a new quick start after I update a few things here the way we like to have them set. All right, let me save this quick start. This is average league 8x8 QS3. Updated GMD and mailbox settings. Okay. Oh, your favorite player infield, average infielder four? I mean, who doesn't have them as their favorite as their favorite player? Everything's average identical. You would think the jersey sales would be the same, but average infielder four, very popular. first ballot, first ballot Hall of Average. Actually, what happens to the prospects like in a league like this? Well, the prospects haven't been updated, so I guess it'll still show who was in here before we deleted them. All right, so we're gonna rename our teams here so that I don't forget what I'm changing them to. The one thing we learned that's really helpful is we're going to update the abbreviations too, because when you look at the league leaders, it actually uses the 3-letter abbreviation. And so the whole reason we named the city and the abbreviation after what we're changing it to in the experiment is so that we don't have to look it up. So this will be the One Pitch Angels, and they will be 1 AL. The 2 Pitch Athletics will be 2 AL. The 3 Pitch Mariners will be 3 AL. The 4 Pitch Rangers, 4 AL. And I'm experimenting with um, channel point redemptions. And one of the ones I have everything super expensive now because I don't want people redeeming them while I'm still figuring it out. But one of them will be you can name the teams in the completely average league, right? So before we started just keeping the team names, and then after a while, I was just like, well, I don't really care what teams they are, so I'm just going to name them average team 5, average team 6. But if anyone wants to name one, I'll make that a channel point redemption. Um, I just haven't had the time to think about how many points it should be. So I just made them like prohibitively expensive for now, so I don't have to deal with it. But that's something that's coming if you want to have a team name that'll basically show up every time we do an experiment. This will be 1 NL. The 2 pitch Mets will be 2 NL. The 3 pitch Phillies. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about this, we could just use the quick start from the other night. And yeah, let me do that. I created a quick start that's pitch repertoire 1 to 8. This will be pitch rep bad 1 to 8. Because in this one, I've already done all this updating to the team names, and all the pitchers have the right pitches. I just have to change the ratings to 50s. So let's start this up and just make sure that's the case. Yeah, see the one pitch angels. If we go into the league structure, the 3-letter abbreviations are all done, and we go to the pitchers. Right, let's look at the 8 pitch pitchers, for example. They have all the right pitches. They're just not rated 50 like they should be. Right. Oh, shoot. Right. And you can see here, the 8th pitch was a sinker. So the sinker was rated 50. So this is a perfect starting point for us. So the one pitch teams don't need to be changed because they still have the same fastball. The 2 pitch team, I think, also does not need to be changed because their second pitch was a crappy changeup. Yep. So we only need to start editing on team 3. This is awesome. I'm glad I thought of this. And I don't even have to remember which pitches are in what order because they are already there. I just have to just knock all of them down except the fastball down to 50. Right, so it's super simple. 50, 50. I'm really excited to see what happens here. I have no idea what's going to happen when we add all these terrible pitches. I mean, is it possible that instead of diminishing returns, you actually get like negative returns the more pitches you add because you're just piling on crappier pitches. Yeah, D-Block, you still have to follow the rules of Twitch and the rules of my channel though for naming your teams. But I guess I'm sure like the dick shots would be allowed. I mean, that's an actual player's name. But D-Block, I've said it before in my stream. I was inspired to start making those channel point redemptions watching your NCAA football streams because I noticed how much fun the community was having naming your recruits after themselves or other people. And I was like, oh, that's a super fun way for people to like feel involved. And what I have to offer are these like completely average teams. Um, Maybe at some point you can even name you can use channel points to rename completely average infielder 4. Infielder 4 will be more expensive to rename than the others because he's so popular. Yeah, this makes it so much easier. I'm glad I thought of this quick start we had because I don't. It's like just change every 400 to 50. That's perfect. So I wanted to have the form up before Ezra rated over, so he had a chance to fill it out before going off to crash. Because you do not have to be present to win my pack giveaway contest. Just get your entries in before the sim starts or before the pack ripping starts, depending on the kind of stream we're having, and you can still win. All right. So the four pitch team is done. I did do the oh, that was the Rangers. Now we're doing the Nationals. Okay. Yeah, that's right. D Block submitted his form. You didn't though submit and take off right away. You hung out for a while, but yeah, you were not present and you still won your packs. Did you get anything good from those packs? I think it's funny. Like I appreciate when people tell me, like, "Oh, I pulled like such and such from one of the packs I got from your stream, or from the drops I got from your stream." And I'm like, "Oh man, I'm sitting on so many packs. I have no idea what packs came from what." I think it's awesome that people like are up to date enough on their pack ripping to know like where they got each pack. D-Block's efficient influencer now. He's too busy. That's true. Whenever I watch D-Block stream, I do think that is a young hip influencer I'm watching there. All right, team number five pitch pitcher. That's what your IRS says. Oh, is that the job they put you under for your tax returns, influencer? Okay, so the fifth pitcher, interesting, is the cutter. Okay, and starting number four. Oops, that stays zero. That's a 50. Starter number five. And last starter number six. Now, one thing to keep in mind is every team gets six of these starters, but they're running 5-man rotations. So one is going to go in the bullpen. And that one is will almost automatically be the most effective reliever in the bullpen because they get that starter boost going from starter to bullpen, which we've actually proved with our experiments is a real thing. But I think it'll be interesting tonight with these really crappy pitches. I wonder if these starters will be as effective as they normally are in the bullpen. They might not be. But again, I have no idea how the AI is going to handle these 50 rated pitches. Um, for the most part, when we go into these experiments, I have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen, and with a few rare exceptions, I'm at least close. But with this one, I don't know what's going to happen. It could go in any of multiple directions. Now, I will say the thing I'm asking people to predict, I'm usually like in the right ballpark. Um, but there is always at least one thing that happens in these sims that maybe not related to what I'm asking in the pack giveaway, but completely blows my mind. Is completely unexpected. Uh, G-Buck says your Rays are playing A-Dub's Orioles next in a 4-game series. That'll be interesting. Is that a PBE or an EMLB or an IMLB or a BYP or a? There are a lot of these leagues now. All right, 16 league, 16, six pitch pitchers. Yeah, this is so much easier because I don't have to keep track of like which pitch am I adding. Kraydog says I'm just making up acronyms at this point. EMLB. Oh, I guess EMLB has real team names. I guess PBE does not, right? They have made up names. YMCA. Is Dr. Dinesh, is that going to be called the RRL, Red Rock League? Well, I guess each of the words is one syllable, so you don't really gain a lot by saying the acronym. And real players. Got it. Got it. I watched some BYP Backyard Project the other day. I really enjoyed that. Like they've really made it feel like a separate world of baseball. Oh, the real players are getting up there in age in EMLB. Interesting. So they're not. It's not like an evergreen source of real major league players in EMLB. I guess that's where the community created players come into play. Those are the new players that come in. Average team six, no neutral team six. So one caveat I didn't put in the forms that maybe I should have is every once in a while during a sim, I'll see something that looks odd, and I'll check to make sure that I made all the edits right. So far, I've been lucky. I haven't. It's always been like RNG or some just weirdness, and it hasn't been anything that was like misentered in. But the caveat is, if it turns out I like, for example, I forgot to change one of the 400s into a 50, we will resim because that's not a legitimate experimental iteration. So that's the one caveat. Or like if I forget to turn a setting on and it becomes apparent during the sim, we will restart it. You're up to April 29th, 2030. Well, that means Juan Soto still has lots of years left. OOTP generates draft pools with imaginary players younger than high school juniors in 2023. But then the rest of that is made up by community created players, right? Neutral team six, average team seven. Yeah, I was thinking about trying to think of some like big celebratory thing to do for 100 streams tonight, but then I realized just doing another experiment is like completely on brand for this stream. So that's what we're gonna do. I noticed there was an error in one of these, but it was a potential number, so it should not have affected the previous experiment. I am updating the potential though, just so in case we ever use this for a multi-season experiment, that the potential matches what we want it to be. Look at all these crappy pitches. Six terrible pitches and an average fastball. Bobby Bonilla is still getting paid. That's funny. I still get emails every year, emails and texts from my friends reminding me that it's Bobby Bonilla Day. It'll be interesting to see how Otani's contract plays out over time, but at least they're getting their money's worth. I mean, Bonilla never played anywhere as well for the Mets as Otani's been playing for the Dodgers. So, you guys think he's going to make it to 50-50, the first 50-50? I mean, 50-50 is pretty amazing because either one of those stats alone is a significant achievement, especially 50 home runs. It will be strange after the 2035 season when Bonilla's finally off the books. Yeah. One thing I learned though playing OOTP is I mean other teams have eaten pretty bad contracts. Like I think until last year or the year before, because the Cincinnati Reds were such cheapskates, uh Ken Griffey Jr. was still the highest payroll number on their roster, uh, because his contract had so much deferred money and they're so cheap in paying their players now that he was still, if not the top, he was like one of the top three payroll numbers a few years ago when I was doing like a save. All right, we're almost done here. This is we're up to the seven pitch team, and we're only having to update the starting pitchers, so it should go pretty quickly. Yeah, we're already done with. All right, we're up to the eight pitch teams now. Don't get you started on the Reds and how they treated Joey Votto. Well, I mean, how they treat pretty much all their players. All right, seven terrible pitches and an average fastball. What is going to happen? And we're getting to you Darvish territory, right? I think he claims to throw 10 pitches. This one throws eight. Sure, but Votto was a loyal company man who loved Cincinnati and gave his heart for the team and city. You just want to slap those owners in the face sometimes. The sad thing is, Cincinnati has terrible baseball owners and terrible football owners. All right, we're in the home stretch. This is the last team we need to update. Then we will. I'll make a last call for contest entries. And what I've been doing that's been working pretty well is when we finish and are about to set up, I'll run ads right after making the last call for entries so that people can finish up their entries, and we can get the ads out of the way so they don't interrupt our simulation. We've done that the last week or so, and it's been working really well. So yeah, the whole mechanics of having pack giveaways has been interesting to learn. Just like it's another thing I have to prepare, right? The form, um, but it's fun. And sometimes I prepare them on the stream so people can better understand like what I'm asking for. But we net, it's a huge positive. I'm so psyched to have them. I know it's hard for people to stay up this later and get up this early to join in and just watch or participate in the chat. So I'm really happy to be able to not just give drops, but give packs to people. Oh, Smiley Face Jane, you enjoy my pack giveaways. I'm glad. Although you might just enjoy them because you keep winning them. Smiley Face Jane is like our champion of pack giveaways. Diva's kind of glad that KC is different in these regards. They have one of the two teams that do not cut their minor leaguers during the pandemic. Yeah. I mean, having good owners, I just hope people who follow teams with good owners just appreciate having good owners because that's it feels like it's becoming an increasingly rare thing. I'm just doing a quick check here to make sure I got these right. Sure. All right. I feel pretty confident that this is good. Okay, so let's save the game. Unfortunately, ethical billionaires are rare in this country. Yes, that's. I think. I think in most places, ethics and billionaires, uh, that overlap is probably rare. Probably because, like, to become a billionaire, you probably have to do some unethical things. So, GLX says it's not that they are just not making tough decisions; they are fair to their players. Yeah, I'm just doing a quick little check here to make sure I didn't skip entire teams or anything. The way most people become billionaires these days is not via work but inheritance. Oh, that's true. That is true. That's okay though, D Block. We don't begrudge you the billions you're going to inherit from 2D, so we don't hold it against you. All right, let me just make a few more of these spot checks here. Mostly, I was checking to see did I make the switch from within like the 7 pitch? Did I make the transition to the other team without skipping a team? Yeah, everything's looking good. Herbie gambled it all the way in the stock market crash. Not in the crypto, not in the crypto scam. Yeah, okay, these are all looking good. Did I do the save? I can't remember if I did the save. You can't ever over save. I'm going to save again. Okay, we're going to also save this quick start, because we benefited so much already. Save current game as a quick start. This is now going to be called Tetra Bad 1 through 8. QSO1. Okay. SPs for each team have 1 through 8 pitch repertoires. Fastball equals 400. All other pitches, not just the nth pitch, all other pitches equal 50. Added in the following order, because we may play with the order in the future too. Fastball, change, slider, curveball, cutter, forkball, splitter, sinker. You know what I noticed we don't have? It would be interesting to see how for the older eras, an actual spitball. Um, and you could choose what year it gets banned. But I would like to see a spitball for the historic eras. That would be fun to play with. Uh, Baffle, welcome. We've been waiting for you. We're one genius short tonight, so thank you for showing up. Kodak says when a player coach leaves their team to get paid, my dad always takes the brain dead stance of how much money do these players need? They should be loyal, blah, blah, blah. And like, yo, dad, you were a union guy. Why are you taking the side of the super rich? How about they show more loyalty to their players and empty their pockets? Yeah. 2002 and the new economy bubble burst. Yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah, Baffle, what we're doing is we're testing out. We have 8 teams. Everyone's identical except the starting pitchers. On the one pitch team, all the starting pitchers just have a fastball. And then subsequent teams, if you're a 2 pitch team, you add a 50 rated changeup, which is a crappy changeup. And then went all the way up to the 8 pitch team, which is an average fastball, and then 7 crappy pitches. And so we're going to see what their stats look like and what the impact of having more crappy pitches is. There's actually a 10-pack giveaway form pinned to the chat if you want to fill that out. I'm going to give everyone some more time to fill that out before we start the sim. D-Block says people are always confused that contracts are made in a sense 2 ways: paying previous production and betting on future production. Well, if the gamble doesn't pay out, then that's why it's a gamble. Well, that's why I think like the non-guaranteed football contracts are such a scam, because you don't have to pay for future production, right? Like a lot of these players, they'll sign like a 4-year, $20 million deal, but the team can just decide not to pay the last 3 years and just cut the player. So it ends up being a 1-year, $5 million deal. And so, I don't know the baseball players. I'm sure most of them do, but they should really appreciate how their the players union has done such a good job of protecting their interests when it comes to contracts. You look at football player contracts, and it's such a they're so stacked towards the team. Um, okay, so yeah, so let me check out the form and see where we are. Okay, good. We've got a bunch of responses. Um, if anyone's working on theirs, you'll have a few extra minutes here because I'm gonna roll ads now, so I can refill my water. You all can finish your forms, and we don't get interrupted in our sim. All right, I'll be right back, y'all. Did the ads not run? I don't think I was away for 3 minutes. Oh, they ran before? Oh, okay. All right. Well, is anyone still working on their pack giveaway form? Because if not, I will close the form. All right. Yeah. Let me know if you're still working on it while I get ready to do the sim here. I did save as a quick start, so we're good there. Okay. I think we're ready to go. Unless anyone objects, I'm going to close the form. We'll uh, we'll take a quick look at what the responses are. I like to look at them anonymized before the what are ads if you sub or have turbo? Okay, I'm closing the form. Now I'm creating a spreadsheet. Now I'm hiding a few columns in the spreadsheet. Oh, who tried to? Oh, wait. Let me make sure you got in. Let me make sure you got in. I guess you would know though if it didn't accept your. Okay, who trying to ball is in. All right, here are the guesses for tonight. It says submit. Yeah, you're on the form, so you are in there. I'm glad you got in there in time. Welcome back to the stream, Who Trying to Ball. Our 100th episode. All right, so the first question was how many pitches will uh, the combined league leader and whip have? So when the when the four pitches were all rated 400, it was three. When the nth pitch was a rated 50 pitch, it was four. Now that all the pitches are 50 pitches, I have no idea what's going to happen. But the answers here range from 2 to 5. This is good. So we have a big spread here. All right, how many pitchers will have the same number of pitch types as the whip leader in the top 10 in the so no one thinks all the whip leaders will have the same pitch count, which is consistent with what we've seen. Ranging from 2 to 6, another widespread. Interesting. How many pitches thrown by the pitcher with the best whip who does not have the same number of pitches as the whip leader? Anywhere from 2 to 5. And then what will be the combined league leading whip? I'm not going to show that one because I think that's we'll save that one for if we need it. Even if we don't need it, I'll show it, but we'll save that one. Okay, this is good. We have a big range of answers tonight. That'll make it even more fun. All right, let's fire it up. As always with these 2023 sims, we'll get a 2 game little start to the season here. It won't tell us much. The next month should tell us a bit more. All right. And one of the things that I've been talking about a lot lately is I think this standings format is fun, but I'm no longer using it for the form or for our conclusions because I think there's too much that goes on in standings that can cover up what's happening with the thing we're testing. Right. So with these starting pitchers, the bullpens are throwing lots of innings and the bullpens are completely average. There's just a lot of RNG and natural variance that can happen with the hitting, both for your team and against your starters. That I think the postseason stat review is by far the better way to go. But this format is still fun, so we're still going to do it. So 1 month in, the 8 pitch team is leading in the AL, but is second to last in the NL. And the only team that's really falling way behind is this 300 win percentage 7 pitch team in the AL. Now, this is where, if that goes on for another month, I'm going to open them up and make sure there's nothing weird going on in there. Who China Ball won the rocking chair last night in the finals again. Congratulations, Who China Ball. That is a format I am terrible in, which is weird because I'm pretty good at live drafts, but I think I don't understand what to do with the live rounds and the historic rounds to make the most of the draft. Clearly, you've got it figured out, though, Muchana Ball. That's awesome. All right, we're going to finish out May here. All right, let's see. Team 8 pitch team still leading in the AL, and the 8 pitch team. Okay, now I say climbing on the cellar in the NL, but the 8 pitch team is in sixth place, but only 2.5 games out of first place. So there's just gonna be a lot of noise in the NL until we start to see some separation. But in the AL, we're starting to see a pretty good spread here. So one thing we've been doing is going to the All-Star break. It's been interesting to see who the AI is picking for the All-Star game. And we get a little bit of peek at some stats a little bit past midseason. Oh, right. So probably average infielder 4. um, it is crazy how often average infielder 4 does well of all the different players it could be. Okay, in the American League, the 8 pitch team hanging on to a 1 game lead over the 3 pitch Mariners, and the top 4 teams in the AL separated by 2 teams. Uh, the 7 pitch teams, oddly, is in the cellar. Now, this is one where I am going to take a look at the 7 pitch team to make sure I did set them up properly. D-Block always liked the Rock Chair because there are so many franchise time machine types who did not know what to do. I feel the same about the live drafts. Those are so late to fill, so I think people are reluctant to play it. And so I'm all over it because I actually do pretty well in those. I think it's because I'm mostly playing live tournaments because there are no combis, and so I know the card set for the live drafts. All right, let's look at the 7 pitch team. Make sure I didn't screw something up. No, they appear to be set up properly. Yeah. Okay. Nothing wrong there. Just having a bad season. Over in the NL, the 7 pitch team is leading. That's so weird. Bottom of one league, top of the other league. Um, both leagues though only separated by 12 games so far. So I think we really are going to have to look at the postseason stats to really understand what's happening. But let's go to the All-Star festivities. Finish out today. We have a tie atop the AL now. 8 pitch team and 3 pitch team. Now this is another one where let's make sure I didn't mess up the 3 pitch team. Yeah, I don't want to make sure I don't have a stray 400 in there, and I don't. So that's good. Okay, and the NL 7 and 8 pitch teams are first and second, separated by 4 games, with a 3 pitch team in the cellar. All right, let's look at the home run challenge. Average infielder four might be having off season, not in the home run challenge this year. Two average outfielder fours though make it to the second round. Ooh, they get beat by the average infielders though. And average infielder six wins the home run challenge. Congratulations. I should have a tiebreaker. I should have a tiebreaker about who wins the home run challenge in the All Star break. Okay, let's see. Now let's watch. Oh no, we're supposed to look at the All Star voting and stuff. All right, here's the AL voting. Let's see what's going on with the pitchers here. Well, this is weird. I thought the higher the pitches, the better. But you have four three-pitch pitchers, including the top vote getters. Three three-pitch pitchers, including the top vote getter, an eight-pitch pitcher, and a five-pitch pitcher. So I'm not really seeing any pattern there, except that they're all over three. So let me copy this. Okay, so this is the AL All-Star team voting. Let's look at the NL fan voting. Well, this is even weirder. These are all six or more pitches except a one pitch pitcher. But I bet this one's pitching in the bullpen. Let's take a look. Oh no, they're not. Yeah, one pitch gone. That's crazy. They got although here's another example. This could just be the AI being the AI because this pitcher has a 6.49 ERA, but somehow they're actually all the pitchers have high ERAs. Okay, this is already a huge difference from the other Sims. All the pitchers have six ERAs or higher in the All Star voting. That was definitely not. This has a 9 ERA. Holy cow! The pitcher fifth in All Star voting has a 9 ERA. I'm screenshotting this. No, we're not. We're gonna wait to look at the league leaders till the end of the season. This is our little peak. We get a little peak during the All Star voting. If we get a better peak when we see the rosters, because they actually have some stats in here. So here are the rosters. And this is what happens, right? When you get these starters in the pen, because there's six starters, they they do significantly better because of that bullpen boost, the bullpen stuff boost. So they make sense. But 5-9, 5.18 ERA, 1.36 WHIP. Here's one with a 1.54 WHIP. All right, let's scroll down and look at the AL pitchers or the NL pitchers. Here, the leading vote getter was 4-11 with a 6.01 ERA. A 1.66 whip. I don't understand the All Star voting, apparently. Oh, here he is, though. Average infielder 4, voted in 357, almost 1,000 OPS. All you average infielder 4 fans. Chuck Vado has a feeling he's overestimated their talent for throwing 5 different angles. Well, this is why I wasn't shocked that there's a one pitch pitcher in the All Star voting, because if everyone's throwing hangers, then, just throw that one good pitch. Smiley Jesus, I thought popularity didn't affect voting. That's amazing. How is infielder 4 first? I think in this league, I didn't make a distinction between corner infielders and middle infielders. Yeah, so the infielders can play any infield position. They're rated. They're all the same 125 for all four infield ratings, and they're 200 experience in all four infield positions, so they can go anywhere. But the first basemen tend to get a lot of camera time because they show them with the base runner, right, when someone gets on base. So they're probably just trying to capitalize on the popularity of average infielder 4 by getting him lots of airtime. But I mean, in a league where everyone's average, that is an insane stat line: 357, 428, 565. I mean, I honestly now am wondering if I made a mistake in setting this guy's ratings up. No, he's completely average. It's all R. It's all RNG. That's amazing. So yeah, they are like future legends that can play everywhere. Future legends or 2024 live cards. Well, so Baffle, I don't necessarily think that it's accurate. It's that we're trying to figure out how the game is designed. Because I think we all agree that in real life, a one pitch pitcher would just get rocked. Um, but for this, it's really a matter of trying to figure out, what does the game do? Does the game make them get rocked? And so far, it does make them get rocked. So that part's accurate. All right, so let's go to the All Star game, and let's see what happens in the All Star game. Yeah, our starters have a 5.18 ERA and a 6.01 ERA. I mean, when's the last time you saw two All Star game starters with stats like that? All Star MVP, average infielder 1, an up and comer, Mariano Rivera. Uh, the AL, the average league beats the neutral league 9-6. Let's check out the box score here. How many of our starters got into the game here? Wow, starter 1 got rocked. This is a 5 pitch pitcher, gave up 4 hits, 3 earned, and a strikeout in 1 inning pitched. And in the AL, this is a 1 pitch pitcher, gave up 2 runs on 2 hits and 2 walks. Here's another pitcher started got rocked. He's a 5 pitch pitcher, so super small sample size in the All Star game. So yeah, we were talking last time about how does the game handle someone like Mariano Rivera, who's mostly a 1 pitch pitcher, and we had some really good stats um, provided too. I can't remember who it was from the chat. If it was one of you guys, please let me know so I can give you credit. But yeah, I mean, he was really predominantly throwing the cutter. Fangraphs, okay, was that you, Talk Beta, who's giving us the stats? Um, what was the pitch he threw 1% of the time? So definitely like relying hard on the cutter. Um, and again, right, it was 80 to 90% cutter, 1% change. So yeah, like so in real baseball, if you only threw one pitch, you'll get mostly rocked. But we know there are examples of pitchers who throw mostly one pitch who can dominate. But this is really more about like how does the game handle it? And I'd be curious to know how Sporer has to massage the ratings to get a Mariano Rivera that's as effective as he should be. Yeah, you're right. Relievers are a different story too. They only throw one inning. The game also treats them differently, right? That there is no two pitch penalty in the bullpen. Uh, in fact, we should do this experiment with the bullpen pitchers because we've been told if you only have two pitches, you have to pitch in the bullpen. Okay, well, let's see how true that is. All right, we're gonna finish out the rest of the season here. We have about half of the month of July left. All right, we've got Team 8 has fallen in the standings now. Third place, 3 games behind the 3 pitch team. And in the NL, the 7 and 8 pitch teams are now first and second place, 3 games ahead of the 2 pitch team. And these standings are making me really glad that we shifted our philosophy away from the standings and towards the season-ending stats. 11-game RBI streak by average infielder 2. Okay, we have 3 teams in the top 3 in the AL separated by 2 games. And in the NL, the 8 and 7 pitch teams still first and second place. All right, we're going to sim to the end of the regular season. All right, well, in both leagues, the 8 pitch team finished in the top 2, including winning the NL and finishing 1 game behind in the AL. And other than that, though, there are not many similarities between the 2 leagues. Interestingly enough, the 1 pitch team finished in the middle of the pack in both leagues. So at least from a standings perspective, they didn't get punished as much as we thought. But this is why we're going to rely on the stats. So I think what did we do last time? I think we reviewed the stats and then we did the postseason. So we can do the same thing here. Let me make sure we play the 162nd game, finish today. All right, so yep, not much change in the standings, so we'll just screenshot this. Why is my screenshot command not working? Function F12. There we go. Okay. Let's go to the stat leaders. Well, now this is interesting. Because everyone's completely average, usually when we run this simulation, the home run leader is in the mid 20s in home runs, and the whole list is 20s. This list is 10 home runs higher, at least on average, above other league leader sheets we've had. And I can only attribute that to the number of 50 rated pitches being thrown. And the fact that we have 6 batting average over 300, we usually don't have any. So those 50 pitches are really impacting the league here. So it'll be interesting what happens on the pitching side. Okay. Um, one thing we saw previously was all the loss leaders through one or two pitches. This time though, it's a pretty even mix. There's lots of fours and sixes in here, so that is a big difference too. Yeah, the league leading RA is a 4.68. Yeah, there are only two pitchers under five, and one's a three pitch pitcher and one's an eight pitch pitcher. And there is a one pitch pitcher here with a 5.45 ERA, third in the league. And the strikeout pitchers, last time it was all four pitch pitchers, at least in the first experiment. And this one, it's all over. There's a seven, a two, a seven. I mean, there are a bunch of there are a few sevens, so that's one thing. But you've got a two, a five, a three, and a four in the mix. Oh, they're all relievers. You're right. You're right. You're right. The only starter here is a seven. Well, that's interesting in itself, though. That means none of the starters are throwing strikeouts. Now they will. Okay, the strikeout per nine numbers are down from previous sims. Now these are all starters because they have to qualify because it's a rate stat. So this is why the strikeout per nine is handy. Um, but I think the last time we saw mostly seven and eights. Baffle says what this means is I am not winning 10 facts. But there's a three in here, a two. Okay, the whips. This is what we're using as our main thing here. Oh, the home run allowed numbers. These are way higher than we've seen previously. Yeah, so the 50 rated pitchers are leading to a lot of bombs, a lot of runs, a lot of hits, just a ton of offense. Our league leading whips also much higher, about 20% higher than previous sims. So I mean, this is surprising. I did not realize adding so many 50 rated pitches would. I mean, I guess I should have in hindsight, but I didn't think it'd be this different. Tomato had put 1.3 and then changed it because it sounded way too high to be. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I would not have guessed that high. The other thing is, I'm seeing a lack of pattern when we saw significant patterns in previous sims. Now let's look at the team stats. That usually tells us a lot too. Usually we see breaks and things like strikeouts. And can I reorder these? Can I order? But no, I can't. Okay. So one thing we did is we looked at the OPSs in order, starting with team one. Right. So 808, 820, 808, 836. It's actually getting higher. Five pitches at 781. Okay, so there's our first big drop, 781 at five pitches. But then back up to 818 with six pitches. With seven pitches, seven. Okay, so this is looking like noise. All right, D Block. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Um, have a good stream. I might catch the tail end of it when I get up, but thanks for being in the chat today. And then with eight pitches, you're at 810. I mean, this looks like noise to me. Four pitches lead and wild pitches in both. That is interesting. But again, like it leads the league, but in the NL you have a little more separation, but the AL they're all like in between 70 and 80. Um, but yeah, all this is looking like noise. I mean, let's look in the NL. Let's pick a slightly different category like ERA. I mean, they're 5.55 with one pitch, 5.19 with two pitches, But then with three pitches, you go back up to 5.7. I mean, this looks like, I bet if we graph these will just look like noise. Yeah, Tomato, same thing. I don't see patterns or outliers too, which to me means it's just mush. Like it doesn't matter how many pitches you're adding if they're crappy pitches. But I mean, that's an important learning too, right? It's like if you're in an online league or if you're drafting a pitcher and you're thinking, oh, more pitches usually means more stuff. But then if you see that they're just crappy pitches, then you're like, yeah, this is just a crappy pitcher. Just adding more crappy pitches just makes him a crappy pitcher with more pitches. Um, I think also too, if you're in an online league, don't waste your boost adding pitches. Like make your bad pitches better. Unless you can add a pitch that's good. I don't think that's how it works though. So if you have four bad pitches, start working on those pitches instead of adding a fifth pitch. This isn't. I mean, it's not as fun as the other conclusions because the other ones had such crisp like cutoffs, and you're like, oh, it's two pitches, it's three pitches. But I do think it's interesting to just see that like it doesn't seem to matter unless some of your pitches are good. It's just like a little bit of crap or a lot of crap, but in the end, it's just going to be crap. Yeah, that's actually kind of interesting. Okay, let's play out the postseason. We'll do the postseason awards, and then we'll look at the accomplishments. Oh, let me get a screenshot of this though. Sometimes, like the lack of information is information itself, right? The lack of pattern is its own pattern. Um, right, we have two 8-pitch teams in the playoffs, along with a 2-pitch team and a 3-pitch team. And the 3-pitch team and the 2-pitch team advanced to the World Series. And the 3-pitch team wins the World Championship. So let's get a screenshot of that. There we go. And let's get some postseason awards, and then we'll go to the contest. Oh, let me screenshot the stats. I forgot to do that. Don't forget velocity has a huge impact on. Yeah, except the velocity is the exact same for everybody, and we don't change it. So while it does impact pitching, it doesn't impact this experiment because we've held that as a constant instead of making it a variable. Just taking some screenshots here, and then we'll for the postseason awards. It will be interesting to see, like in this world now we've created where every pitcher is just like a mishmash of bad pitches. Um, who actually rises to the top to win the Cy Young Award? All right, let's go to Great Glove Awards. Doesn't really matter, but there should be zero patterns here. Oh, okay. I'm glad I caught this before we started. I thought I had changed this before we started the sim, but we need news from the entire world. All right, Great Glove doesn't matter. Reliever of the year. Our starters will be in the mix for this, so it might be interesting to see. Yeah, because the starters have such bad pitches, they usually run away with this award, but um they got one first place vote here. So that is interesting. Even with the stuff boost, even with potentially having seven additional pitches, the pitches being bad just can't overcome those things. In the AL, though, it is one of the starters that wins and this one is more like we see in other sims where starters are three of the top four vote getters. Okay, where this is where that stuff boost is coming through, and I guess it's helping overcome the lack of good pitches. All right, and then what's the next award? Platinum stick doesn't really matter. All right, we'll just see much better than usual stat lines here for an average league, just because the pitching is so poor. Rookie of the year, no one's eligible since they all have the same exact experience. This will be the interesting one, the Cy Young Award. Oh, this is interesting. It's relievers. Look at this. The top five are relievers because our starters suck so bad. And in the NL, uh, four of the top five are relievers. We have an 8 pitch starter coming in third. Wow. So it's so bad. Having bad pitches is so bad. Yeah, Tom Tomato, I agree. I'm finding this to be very interesting. Usually when we do these things, we end up boosting something on the starters. So the bullpen kind of drags down the 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 impact of the starters. In this case, the relievers are carrying some of these teams because their starters are so bad with their crappy pitches. In which case, I'm a little surprised that the one pitch teams aren't doing better because they don't have a crappy pitch to throw. But then I guess you get back to then if you only have one pitch, they can just sit on it. So, well, then let's go back and look. Is there a break point between one and two pitches? Because it almost seems like there should be. One pitch, 275 average, two pitches, 277 average. OPS 808, 820. Yeah, that's weird. I mean, I guess the second pitch gives the batter something to think about, but it's so bad they can just crush it. So it's a wash. It seems like the game is treating it like a wash. But I think this is the first one of these sims where the Cy Young awards have gone to relievers. I mean, the NL one is still a bit more mixed with the AL one. I mean, it's a reliever show here. Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, we're done with the awards. So let's go back to the form. Oh wait, you know what? First, I'm going to unhide the Twitch ID column so we can see who guessed what. Okay, so here's what we've got. Okay, so how many pitches in the repertoire of the pitcher who leads the league in combined whip? That would be starter six on the eight pitch team. The eight pitch team. No one guessed the eight pitch team. So we go to the tiebreaker. First tiebreaker. How many pitchers with the same number of pitch type as the whip leader are there in the top seven? Okay, so the whip leader is from team eight. There are no other pitchers from team eight in the top seven. So the closest would be the people who guess two. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I guess we're down to Kitty Poo Poo and oh, what a surprise, Smiley Face Jane. Uh, and the next tiebreaker, they guess the same thing. How many pitch types thrown by the pitcher with the best whip who does not have the same number of pitchers as the whip leader? So basically, the second place pitcher in this case, they come from a four pitch team, and they both somehow got it right. No way. No way. Look at this. What will be the combined? What will be the combined leaders whip? 1.12 and 1.12. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is craziness. And the whip was 1.3. Now I gotta go back. I want to unfilter this and see who actually came closest. Ooh, we had a 1.26. Who is that? Who gets the 1.26? Clay Dog. If the order had been different, Clay Dog would have won with the closest whip. We had Tom Mato was close to the 1.12 also. He had a 1.1. Wow. Okay, well, I've said it before. The final tiebreaker is based on who submitted first, if we make it all the way through. I honestly never thought we would get past this tiebreaker asking for the whip, which is usually reported in two decimal points. So this is in order of submission. So Kitty Poo Poo submitted first. 7 packs of Kitty Poo Poo, 3 packs of Smiley Face Jane. Congratulations to our winners. Thanks to all of our players. And thanks, of course, to OOTP Developments for the packs that we get to give away. Man, this is one of the most fun contests. I mean, the simulation, we learned one big thing, which is that if your pitches suck, it doesn't matter how many you have. But the pack giveaway was amazing. That was great. Thank you for participating in the pack giveaway. That was one of the most fun contests we've had. So that was awesome. Let's look at the accomplishments and then we'll look for someone to rate into. And I still give lots of credit to P Boom for suggesting this the first time we ever did it. Was to look at this history index. If you haven't done this, I highly recommend it for your Sims. And go to accomplishments, and you just see like a summary of all the the big account. So all the 3 home run games. Usually in these sims, this is empty or we have one or two. Because we have so many bad pitches, we have 7 of these, 7 3 home run games. A 6 hit game, which we normally don't see any of. No 15 strikeout games. A cycle. We managed to have a no hitter. An 8 pitch team pitcher had a no hitter. 4 strikeouts and 2 walks. Considering how big the offense was this season, that's kind of amazing. Huh. And we know no one hit 50 because the league leader had 30. Um, and 3 20-game hitting streaks for a completely average league, that's actually pretty good. But even on a sim where we have really good pitching, we'll see, one or two of these. So yeah, the no hitter though, that's pretty good. Not as amazing as the shutout thrown by 3 Jose Limas against a team of 2001 Barry Bonds, but still pretty good. All right, well, thanks, y'all. I hope you had as much fun as I did. I had a blast on that one, especially that pack giveaway. That was great. Should I put? Let me put the title slide back on just to remind everybody what we're doing today. Right, we're testing to see if bad pitches matter. Does it matter how many bad pitches you have? They hit every hanger right at someone. Exactly. um, yeah. I do think honorable mention to Clay Dog though for guessing 1.26 whip when the answer was 1.3. That was pretty close. All right, let's look for someone to raid into here. Um, I think I want to let me see what Sensei Martian's up to real quick. I'm assuming Baffle's not streaming because he was in here. Let me see if any of the sports folks that have been streaming leaving. Yeah, Ophi's online too, but I don't want to overwhelm her chat with especially because she's just getting started tonight right now. Oh, cool. Sensei Martian is in like a food hall of some sort. Okay, so Sensei Martian, um, in case you haven't been here when we've raided into him before, he is a 30-ish-year-old American guy who's been living in Japan for about a decade. He is walking the entire length of Japan, from the southern tip of Kyushu to the northern tip of Hokkaido. And he has just crossed over into the last island of Hokkaido. He is on day 141, uh, over 2,300 kilometers walked. And he looks like he's getting food, which should be super interesting. Although I am tempted to raid into Ophi because I don't know if you guys have watched it. I highly recommend. Ophi and her friends have she cut down a week's worth of readings into one 3-hour video of them doing a reading of a notoriously Harry Potter fanfic called My Immortal fanfic. That's just amazing. I will put a link to the video in the Discord because it's so amazing. But tonight I want to raise y'all into Sensing Martian. This is his. I think first day on Hokkaido. So this is a big deal for him. So I want to send you all over to him tonight.